Well, the first thing that's in front of me here is on my iPhone, and it says Microsoft CEO admits that AI is generating basically no value. Let's see what that has to say before I go on, because that's been kind of bugging me. It's by Victor Tangerman, Saturday, February 22nd, 2025 at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It says it's a 3-minute read. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, whose company has invested billions of dollars in ChatGPT maker OpenAI, has had it with the constant hype surrounding AI. During an appearance on podcaster Dwarkesh Patel's show this week, Nadella offered a reality check. Us self-claiming some artificial general intelligence milestone, that's just nonsensical benchmark hacking to me, Nadella told Patel. Instead, the CEO argued that we should be looking at whether AI is generating real-world value instead of mindlessly running after fantastical ideas like AGI, that's artificial general intelligence. To Nadella, the proof is in the pudding. If AI actually has economic potential, he argued, it'll be clear when it starts generating measurable value. So, the first thing that we all have to do is, when we say this is like the Industrial Revolution, let's have that Industrial Revolution type of growth, he said. Let me read that again because I don't feel like I comprehended what I just read. So the first thing that we all have to do is, when we say this is like when we say this is like the Industrial Revolution, got it. Okay. So the first thing that we all have to do is, when we say this is like the Industrial Revolution, let's have that Industrial Revolution type of growth, he said. The real benchmark is the world growing at 10%, he added. Suddenly, productivity goes up and the economy is growing at a faster rate. When that happens, we'll be fine as an industry. Needless to say, we haven't seen anything like that yet. OpenAI's top AI agent, the tech that people like OpenAI CEO Sam Altman say is poised to upend the economy, still moves at a snail's pace and requires constant supervision. There's a link to that, and I'm curious about where that goes to. And it's on Futurism. Says OpenAI's agent has a problem. Before it does anything important, you have to double check it hasn't screwed up. Okay, cool. That's another article, right? So I just wanted to see where that went to. So Nadella's line of thinking is surprisingly down to earth. Besides pushing back against the hype surrounding artificial general intelligence, the realization of which OpenAI has made its number one priority, Nadella is admitting that generative AI simply hasn't generated much value so far. As of right now, the economy isn't showing much sign of acceleration, and certainly not because of an army of AI agents. And whether it's truly a question of when, not if, as he claims, remains a hotly debated subject. There's a lot of money on the line, with tech companies including Microsoft and OpenAI pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into AI. Chinese AI startup DeepSeek really tested the resolve of investors earlier this year by demonstrating that its cutting-edge reasoning model, dubbed R1, could keep up with the competition, but at a tiny fraction of the price. The company ended up punching a $1 trillion hole in the industry after triggering a massive sell-off. Then, there are nagging technical shortcomings plaguing the current crop of AI tools, from constant hallucinations that make it an ill fit for any critical functions to cybersecurity concerns. Nadella's podcast appearance could be seen as a way for Microsoft to temper some sky-high expectations, calling for a more rational, real-world approach to measure success. At the same time, his actions tell a strikingly different story. Microsoft has invested $12 billion in OpenAI and has signed on to President Donald Trump's $500 billion Stargate project alongside OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. Now, I'm immediately concerned. I heard the Stargate name before, but first of all, there's a movie Stargate and a TV series Stargate about a portal being opened up, like basically a wormhole into different planetary systems. But then also wasn't that one of the names of one of the CEI's mind control experiments called Stargate? Just saying, I could be wrong. Continuing. After multi-hyphenate billionaire Elon Musk questioned whether Altman had secured the funds, Nadella appeared to stand entirely behind the initiative. All I know is I'm good for my $80 billion, he told CNBC last month in response to Musk's accusations. Okay. Well, there is a lot of AI hype. There are a lot of companies and a lot of people hawking a lot of stuff online about, oh boy, man, see, this is what happens when I look at Google. A frozen worm comes back to life after 46,000 years. Is that really what has happened? It seems unthinkable that anything could live after tens of thousands of years in hibernation. The discovery of a tiny creature in the Siberian permafrost has sparked conversations about how resilient life can be. In a recent breakthrough, researchers determined that a worm which had been frozen for about 46,000 years had survived and remained alive. Dr. Philip Schiffer, a group leader in the Institute of Zoology at the University of Cologne, and his colleagues have been studying how this creature managed to survive well beyond its usual lifespan. Oh my gosh. All right, that's enough. I'm not... Okay. So... Yeah, all right. So, one of the things that we can do for ourselves to inject more value into the economy, and the way that we can use AI as a tool to help with that, is something I've been doing, which is like taking stuff back to the old school in a little bit. And I just label it in three ways. It's transcription, transcription, start again, dictation, transcription, and summarization. Dictation meaning recording, and then transcription, as you know, videos get transcribed and the audio gets transcribed into text. And then summarization. I've been using should I move this? Put this here. Does that work? That's better. Okay, so I've been using my Samsung, which this video is being recorded on now, to record audio and then having it transcribed and then summarized with the free software on there, and then just posting that. And I'm actually writing a book that way. So I'll just go to worldreadingclub.com. It's one of my sites, right? The screen is so bright. Oh, there we go. Good. And so one of the things that I've been doing is this very same thing. So I've been... Wait, what is... That's not the... Oh. Let me go to the home page, right? Oh, there it goes. I was wondering why I ended up where I was, but the last post is called South Golden Doom and the Interest Graph, Content Creation Simplified, a 3-step process. And basically, South Golden Doom, I use that as a title because I thought it was funny that the transcription software said South Golden when I was saying Seth Godin. He's an author, he's a writer who has had a blog for 20 years, which is quite impressive, and has recently re-inspired me to stick to that medium and the spoken word, because that's where I excel, mainly because even though I don't have the best vocabulary, I'm not the best speaker, I'm very passionate about speaking and I'm confident with it. And so And I'm also okay with admitting when I'm wrong or that I don't know something, and I'm consistent. So I can always show up as a speaker and a researcher, and I'll always look things up, and everything that I record, I leave it, and I reference things, and I'm just constantly active doing that. I say that he's re-inspired because when I started looking more back into research about marketing and everything like that, and trying to build a business, because it's really, really difficult, I started seeing videos from Gary Vaynerchuk, and he talks about just being everywhere all the time on all the social media channels, and that's difficult for a lot of people. And one of the hype right now is that a lot of marketers or people who are wanting to sell things or getting into the AI hype are claiming you can have an AI agency, you can sell bots, you can white label them to companies, they can do everything, customer service, they can make posts for you every day, blah, 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 on and on and on. And so that's one of the ways that it's being used. And arguably, like this gentleman from Microsoft said, it might not be really creating any value. Now, the one solution that I was talking about is, like I said, dictation, transcription, summarization, and it's exactly what I've been doing here, because I feel like, and my understanding is, that we should be taking our human intelligence and putting as much content out that's genuinely generated from humans, not read from an AI script, not generated from AI and then read by AI voices, that, just like I'm doing right now, stream of consciousness. And also I read an article from online to lead in to kind of direct and guide my thoughts a little bit. But what I've been doing is a lot of stream of consciousness and then having it transcribed with the free software on my Samsung device, and then it also summarizes with the AI. And I've just been posting that with the heading that says unedited transcript summary and then unedited transcript. And so I've been embedding that on my sites, and what it does is it gives me 3 pieces of content in one, basically. So if I go back to my site here again, right, you'll see first there's a haiku, my own original haiku, that says, do you understand what hinders your success? Do you understand that what hinders your success is conformity, right? And then so you click on the article, it's called South Golden Doom and the interest, and the interest graph, content creation simplified, a 3-step process. And I'm basically just talking about in there what I'm talking about here. And you see at the top it says unedited transcript summary, right? And then after the transcript, then I just go into, it should say somewhere there, where is it? Yeah, unedited transcript. And I did my best to separate it, but the transcript is not the best. But it's all my original content, and the thing is that it can be tracked back to the podcast, right? Because I'm speaking it. The summary is a little bit more coherent than the actual transcript, and so I put them there like that because I just thought that this is a great way for me to generate content quickly without relying heavily on AI. What the hell is this? Okay, like the matrix is being unlocked in my phone here. All right, so yeah, like the transcript says, the unedited transcript summary says, content creation process. Despite fatigue and preference for passive learning, content creation is necessary, because that's what I was talking. So it's basically summing up what I said. Instagram is used for brainstorming and clarifying the content, because I did an Instagram live before that. Seth Godin's work, particularly a new book, influenced the content's direction. So it even said it spelled out his name and everything correctly here. But for some reason, like in this area says South Golden Doom and the interest graph. The author's development gravitates towards South Golden Doom. Initial thoughts dismissed it as a conspiracy, but the author now understands it's based on Seth Godin's work. The understanding is rooted in the concept of the interest graph and how minds work. Did I say South Golden? I don't even know, dude. It's possible. Let's see if I can hear this here.
Specifically for social media, which are powered by artificial intelligence, they are now operating by what is being called an interest graph. And the interest graph basically is simply the result is that you are being fed in your streams of various kinds on social media what AI is calculating you're interested in by how much time you spend
your ears, your eyes on it,
consuming certain types of content. Now,
I've been proving that too over and over again.
The other thing that I've noticed has been happening is as I've been creating content, and as the way that I've been creating content is helping me to brainstorm things through stream of consciousness, and as I've been leveling up my ideas and thoughts and publishing that has also contributed to the interest graph.
Yeah, so it feeds me more.
I'm being associated with because I'm speaking about these different ideas that I'm having, and it's being connected to ideas that are similar to what other people are doing, specifically Seth Godin. It's interesting because Gary Vaynerchuk, who I started back off listening to again, puts out content all the time.
Yeah, so same thing I just said, I'm not going to get into that. Like, the whole thing is, just as how prolific I always have been about creating content, I really don't have that, I don't make that much time to get back into it. Let me continue here with one of the things I was doing. It's like a parasocial experiment. Ooh, what's this? Sounds like a conspiracy theory. Let's do that.
Broke. Bank Santander, Deutsche Bank, Royal Bank.
Yeah, let's do it.
It is my opinion that you do not really understand the concept of banking. All the banks are broke. Bank Santander, Deutsche Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, they're all broke. And why are they broke? It isn't an act of God. It isn't some sort of tsunami. They're broke because we have a system called fractional reserve banking, which means that banks can lend money that they don't actually have. It's a criminal scandal, and it's been going on for too long.
All right,
and most of the problem starts in
this is
politics
stuff that
and central banks,
we've
which are part of
heard
the same
before. I don't want to get off onto that. I'll look at the conspiracy theory stuff later. Let's see. This is 18 minutes, so I'll finish this soon. But the main point is, and I'll put the link to the World Reading Club. Actually, did I put this on? No, I did. There's a different one I put on HakeemAlexander.com. But I'll put the link to, I'm going to upload this to YouTube and put the link. Oh, yeah. So there's two of them, actually, I did. There's one called One Way to Rapidly Generate Original Content Without Relying Completely on AI. I did it as an NSSR, or one of my not so subliminal recordings. And I just published the podcast for that on HakeemAlexander.com. And then this one, South Golden Doom and the Interest Graph Content Creation Simplified, a 3-step process. Okay, so yeah, so I'll put both of the links to those in the YouTube video, which this will be. I'm not going to edit this video at all. I'm just going to upload it with those links. And I really want to continue to promote this idea that of dictation, transcription, summarization, that we can rapidly create content. We can rapidly create meaningful content that is from us as human beings, assisted by AI, and that we can create more value when we put together our own ideas in only a way that we as humans can, with our thoughts, our lives, our emotions, showing up consistently as professionals and experts, and using the AI as a tool to help us. For example, again, I'm dictating, I'm speaking into the microphone, and it's my own voice with my own mistakes, my own thoughts, all that stuff like that. My own creativity, though, is the most important thing. And then using the AI transcription tools to generate the text, even though it might be flawed, and then to make a summary also might be flawed as well. But that content is created by human being originally, and anyone can go back and listen to the original audio. And I'm sure that if I find a better tool that I pay for, that the transcription will be more accurate. And that's just the next step that I'm going to take. Right now, I just haven't pursued that because I'm enjoying this experiment of this free tool and just seeing what it does. But that's something that I would recommend. And the final thing too is that I'm sponsoring my own content by simply putting sponsored by. So for example, the one on HakeemAlexander.com was, I'll just put that in here real quick. I put that on for the one way to rapidly generate content without relying completely on AI is sponsored by Modern Podcasting, and that's one of the courses that's for $12 on blogdealer.com. And so this is
introduction. There's never been a better time to start your own podcast. Sales of smartphones over recent years have fueled more interest in podcasts, and now there are more podcast listeners than ever before. And the numbers are growing every year. A number of marketers have tried to create a successful podcast and failed. This is because they tried to use outdated methods to get their podcast noticed, or because they just didn't know what they were doing.
Right. And so I don't know what I'm doing either. And I don't follow all the things that are in that course. And I should actually link the book to that. I've even published 2 books about podcast marketing. One for fitness trainers, because I'm a fitness trainer, and then one for students who study psychology. So, and podcasting their psychology journey. So, but that's just because I got derailed in a good way on doing these NSSRs, and then that got me developing and working on and innovating different things on my own that I really feel like are important, and specifically bringing back this old school, which is dictation, transcription, summarization. I mean, this is amazing way to generate content rapidly that is from your human mind. And you can even create entire books like this. The one example I gave was if you record just a 15-minute talk on, like, for example, the Samsung voice recorder, transcribe it, put a summary, you've got something that'll take about 15 minutes to read. You do that 10 times, that's 150 minutes. That's a 2.5 hour read. That means that somebody, if they wanted to, they could break that up into 5 reading sessions. And, right, is that correct? 30, it's an hour, 30, that's 2 hours, 30, that's 2.5 hours, right? So they can split that up into 5 reading sessions of 30 minutes, or just like you do to record it, 10, 15-minute reading sessions, or whatever way you want to chop it up. But that's a way you can create short books like that literally speaking a book into existence. Your own original content, your own life story, and finding a way that you can use your stories and your experience, your expertise to add value to somebody else's life and eventually find your audience, which is something I'm still working on and struggling with. Although I'm gravitating towards sharing the fact that I'm still extremely fit and healthy at 47 years old and able to have a high level of mobility and strength and endurance. And so I've been focusing on just niching down to a demographic of 44 to 55-year-old men who want to increase their mobility, their sex drive, their physical fitness, their overall quality of life from a physical fitness standpoint, and incorporating my concept of hypnoathletics as exercising your mind towards universal harmony and spiritual wisdom through healthy living and self-defense. Even though a lot of these things are universal, but it's just to get these ideas to specific people to hear this, and then also gearing my content to, like, integrating the content towards that. So what I mean is that using this dictation, transcription, summarization, I'll be dictating, speaking about the fitness journey specifically for men 44 to 55, right? And then all of the things that develop from that. So I'm actually using that process to generate that type of content, and talking about the 4 types of aging. And then, so right now what I'm really working on I'm doing it in the form of the NSSRs, the not so subliminal recordings, targeting the men 44 to 55, right, who happen to also be executives and entrepreneurs, right, and talking about the 4 types of aging and breaking that down: chronological aging, psychological aging, which then influences your biological and physiological aging, and then talking about this concept of pitch, PITCH, which is an acronym that shows that all these things are equivalent. It's programming, influencing, training, conditioning, and hypnosis are equivalent, to try to demystify the idea of hypnosis, but showing that the hypnotic modalities, specifically the laws of self-hypnosis, which are repetition and association, need to be applied to your learning and education, or your programming, influencing, training, conditioning, and hypnosis, in order to positively influence your biological and your physiological aging. And I'm still developing the concept and making it so that I can describe it as clearly as possible to that demographic, but that is part of the things that are developing. And even though other people may have other programs and other things they're talking about like that, like I've seen so many of them, there is no competition, and I'm going to keep going to this until so many things can happen. I can get tired of it. I can see it's a waste of time, whatever, but it's something that I'm onto right now, and I also feel like a lot of people can benefit from. So I'm going to find my audience in that, because it's something that I'm really good at. I do it all the time. I test my body. I've proven it, and plus I have real world example of seeing people in my family go divergent ways, of being completely debilitated from not practicing healthy habits, and someone who's still thriving even though they're in their 80s. So, it's an amazing thing. All right, let's see, 27 minutes, that's good enough for now to get this on YouTube, and see what kind of title to give it, and then make sure I put these 2 blogs in the links here so people can find that, and as well as adding a new sponsor to the YouTube video, because there's so many things in here that are happening all at once. Like Dan Kennedy says, people who are small businesses or self-employed or freelancers need to not only be the doer of the thing, but the marketers of the thing.